Hey y'all, grab a coffee or maybe something a little more energetic. We're about to dive into a story that sounds almost too wild to be true. It's about a brand that didn't just sell a drink, it sold an entire way of life. You see, Red Bull didn't invent the idea of an energy drink, not even close. But what they did do was completely reinvent how we think about energy and what it means to feel alive. They weren't just pushing a beverage. They were selling a feeling, a dare, a lifestyle. It was about pushing boundaries, about that extra spark you needed to do something incredible. And here's the kicker. They built this massive empire without really doing traditional advertising. Seriously, they became more of a media company than a drink manufacturer. It's fascinating. And to give you perspective, today, Red Bull sells over 11 billion cans a year across 170 countries. That's roughly 35 cans cracked open every second around the world.
The spark, a strange idea from Thailand. So our story actually starts in a pretty unexpected place, Thailand. Imagine a bustling, vibrant country and a businessman named Chaleo Yoovidhya. He created this drink called Krating Daeng, which literally means Red Bull in Thai. It was designed as a pick-me-up, especially popular with truck drivers and factory workers needing to stay alert. Fast forward to the 1980s, an Austrian marketing executive, Dietrich Mateschitz, is on a business trip in Thailand. He's feeling the jet lag, you know the drill. Someone hands him a can of Krating Daeng. He tries it, and boom, the jet lag is gone. He immediately recognized the incredible potential in this local concoction. This led to an unlikely partnership. You had Yoovidhya with his humble, practical roots, and Mateschitz, the sharp, visionary business mind. Two very different worlds colliding. But they shared this incredible vision. They saw a global opportunity, a chance to take this simple pick-me-up and turn it into something monumental. By 1984, they founded Red Bull GmbH, splitting ownership evenly between the two partners and Chaleo's son, Chaleo. That's when the real flight began.
Red Bull is born, the rebrand that changed everything. So, in 1987, after a lot of work, the drink was reformulated, rebranded, and officially renamed Red Bull. This wasn't just a new label, it was a whole new identity. They kept that iconic two charging bulls logo, which was a nod to its Thai origins, and they introduced a tagline that would become legendary. Red Bull gives you wings. Simple, powerful, unforgettable. They weren't just launching a new product, they were creating an entirely new category of drinks. It was a completely fresh consumer experience, something people hadn't seen before. Initially, though, it wasn't an easy sell. Retailers just didn't get it. They'd look at this small, expensive can and wonder where it fit on their shelves. Back then, the price was nearly double that of a Coke, but that was part of the strategy. Red Bull wasn't meant to be a soft drink. It was positioned as a premium boost for the driven and daring. So Red Bull had to get creative. They launched this incredible grassroots marketing strategy. They started giving away cans, especially at universities. They sponsored parties, events, anything where young, energetic people gathered. It wasn't about big ad campaigns. It was about getting the drink into people's hands. Their focus was on building a cultural movement, one can, one person, one experience at a time. They wanted to be part of the scene, not just advertised to it. And within just a few years, word of mouth spread like wildfire across Europe. And by the mid-1990s, Red Bull became a global symbol of energy and youth culture.
Marketing madness, how Red Bull sold a lifestyle. And boy, did they succeed. Red Bull quickly became synonymous with extreme sports, with pushing boundaries, with that adrenaline rush. Think Formula One, cliff diving, snowboarding. They were everywhere. But here's where it gets really interesting. They didn't just sponsor events, they created them. They strategically built Red Bull Media House, turning content creation into a core product. Founded in 2007, it became one of the most powerful brand-owned media companies in the world, producing films, documentaries, music, and even magazines like the Red Bulletin. They essentially developed their own internal media empire. This allowed them to tell their own stories, to control the narrative, and to truly immerse people in the Red Bull lifestyle. They executed major campaigns, viral stunts that blew up the internet, and guerrilla marketing tactics that were just brilliant. They were always thinking outside the box. They even started sponsoring obscure sports, things you'd never heard of, and brought them into the mainstream. They didn't just follow trends, they set them. They even went beyond sports, buying actual teams, from Red Bull Racing in Formula One to football clubs like RB Leipzig in Germany and Red Bull Salzburg in Austria. They weren't just a sponsor, they were the brand at the center of the action. It wasn't about selling a sugary drink anymore. It was about selling the idea of what you could achieve with that extra boost, that extra courage. It was about inspiration. Every can was basically a little can of confidence.
The Stratos mission, the jump heard around the world. Now, if you want to talk about pushing boundaries, nothing exemplifies Red Bull's philosophy more than the Stratos mission. This was truly next level. They backed Felix Baumgartner's audacious dream to jump from the stratosphere. Imagine that. It sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie. This wasn't just a stunt. It involved extensive scientific preparation, years of training, and global anticipation. The world was watching, holding its breath. And then, in 2012, it happened. Felix made the jump. It was a record-breaking event, watched live by millions worldwide. It was absolutely breathtaking. In fact, it broke YouTube's record for most live viewers at the time. Over 8 million people tuned in to watch him fall from space. The Stratos mission powerfully symbolized the brand's ultimate message. It wasn't just a tagline anymore. Red Bull gives you wings became a literal, awe-inspiring reality. It showed the world that with enough courage, preparation, and maybe a little Red Bull, anything is possible. It cemented their image as a brand that dares to dream big.
Challenges, criticism, and evolution. Of course, it hasn't all been smooth sailing. Red Bull has faced its share of controversies over the years. There were concerns about caffeine content and even lawsuits over the "gives you wings" slogan. They've had to adapt to health regulations and public scrutiny. It's a powerful drink, and with that comes responsibility and challenges. In 2014, they even settled a class action lawsuit for $13 million. Not because the drink was unsafe, but because some argued it didn't literally give you wings. The irony was hard to miss. But they've always evolved. They diversified their product line, introducing sugar-free versions and other options to meet changing consumer demands. They even got into eco-initiatives. In recent years, Red Bull's factories have moved toward 100% renewable electricity, and their cans are made of fully recyclable aluminum, a quiet but meaningful shift. Their expansion continued into new arenas, like esports, where they've become a major player, and their dominance in Formula One, absolutely sustained and impressive. Their Red Bull racing team, led by Christian Horner, has been a powerhouse, winning multiple World Constructors' Championships and fueling legends like Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. Then, in 2022, a significant moment occurred with the passing of co-founder Dietrich Mateschitz. It was a huge loss, but his incredible legacy continues to drive the brand's innovation. Today, Red Bull remains a privately held company, still half-owned by the Yoovidhya family, preserving that original Thai-Austrian partnership that started it all. Red Bull has shown that even a brand built on daring can adapt, face criticism, and continue to push forward, always looking for the next frontier. So,
What's the takeaway from this incredible journey? Red Bull's impact on marketing is undeniable. They completely shifted the paradigm. They moved away from traditional advertising and embraced immersive experiences. They showed that you don't just sell a product, you sell an adventure, a feeling, a community. They established a brand identity that truly transcends the product itself. It's not just about the drink. It's about embodying a feeling, a lifestyle, and the courage to dare. It's a story of two men, two cultures, and one audacious idea that took flight, literally and metaphorically. Red Bull taught us that sometimes the most effective way to sell something isn't to talk about it, but to show what's possible when you have it. They truly gave the world wings in more ways than one. And that might just be the greatest marketing trick of all time.